Hey there, this is Julie, the Garter Girl. I wanted to make a quick video for you about the 10 things every bride forgets before her wedding. I know that you think it's all wedding garters and heirlooms around here, but I do have tons of wedding planning advice, just things in general that I have learned over my years of doing this. So I really want to bring that kind of information to you guys. These are posts that are on my blog that are so popular, so I wanted to bring them over here and make videos for you because I know you're going to love this information. And if you love this, make sure you subscribe below. So first of all, the 10 things that every bride forgets. And like I said, I've been doing this for a lot of years and I see this happening all the time. So maybe like not all 10, but at least there's a few. And if I can get to you in advance, then hopefully you'll save yourself some drama. So the first thing that most brides forget is the marriage license. Every state, I live in DC, so it's a jurisdiction. So every state has different rules and regulations, and you have to look in advance to make sure what your state's rules and regulations are. And then the second part of that, not just remembering to get it or apply for it, is then bringing it with you to the ceremony so that you and then whoever's officiating can also sign it. So it's getting it and getting it in time, and then also bringing it with you. The second thing is the wedding rings. So you're like so excited, and you want to make sure that you have the wedding bands for the wedding ceremony, so that when you put this with this ring and you put it on, you want to make sure you have something to put on. A little pro tip, added bonus, make sure you get your wedding band or your wedding rings professionally cleaned, especially if you've been wearing your engagement ring for a while. It's probably pretty dirty and could stand to have some of that extra sparkle before the big day. So the next tip is regarding the paper products, and so things like your wedding invitation, or if you have any like escort cards or just like extra little items, if you want to have your photographer photograph them, they're going to need copies. So if you want them to photograph, let's say your wedding invitation, maybe do one of those cool flat lays, you have to make sure to save a copy for them. And another pro tip, added bonus here, is that if the invitation that you want photographed is double-sided, you need to have two. So let's say it's an invitation envelope and you have this beautiful calligraphy on the front with these beautiful stamps, and then the back side is lined. You want to have two copies of the envelope so that they can photograph the top and then flip it over and photograph maybe the bottom together. So either way, make sure you get a copy of all your paper goods and all your little extras so that you can have your photographer photograph them. The next thing is, this is the fourth tip, and that is all the accessories for your wedding weekend outfits. Okay, so we remember the wedding dress, and we tend to remember like sort of all the other little items, which, by the way, little plug here, I have a free bridal fashion timeline which will show you exactly what to order when. I'll link it down below. Get that if you're not sure when to order all these items. But I often see brides forgetting all the other things. So you need something to wear at the rehearsal dinner. You need something the morning of the wedding. You need something for the night of the wedding, the day after the wedding, whether you're going to a brunch or sort of doing nothing. But beyond just the actual outfit, people tend to forget sort of all the other things. Maybe it's a different pair of shoes, maybe it's the undergarment, jewelry, purses, things like that. So remember the outfit, but then also remember everything else, all the other little accessories. The fifth thing that I see brides forgetting is how to bustle the wedding dress. So maybe it was like weeks prior that your alterations person had shown you, or the bridal dress shop consultant had shown you how to bustle the wedding dress, but sometimes we forget. So my big tip there is, it would be awesome if you and a bridesmaid or somebody else who was going to be there also knew how to bustle the wedding dress, so that you're not like Googling or whatever, trying to figure out how to get this dress bustled up. So it can be, they tend to be simple but also complicated at the same time. And if you've never done it before, you definitely want to try to make sure. And like I said, when you're in the bridal shop and they show you how to bustle your dress, it's awesome if you can have somebody else who's going to be there with you also learn at the same time. Maybe they can practice a few times. The sixth item is the day of your wedding, having a game plan. Some people call this a timeline. Whatever you want to call it, you need to have it. If you have a wedding planner, this is where they're going to come in key. They're going to be able to give you that game plan. Like, these people need to be here at this time, I need to be here at that time, my partner needs to be here at that time, and so on. From the start of the day to the end of the day, you want to know where everybody needs to be, and you want to kind of walk through it minute by minute, or 5 minutes by 5 minutes, so that everybody knows. And then you want to make sure that like a little pro tip here is all of your wedding vendors have that timeline. So whether it's the DJ or the band or the florist or the photographer, everybody needs to have that timeline so that everybody can help you out and make sure that the day goes exactly how you envisioned it. Because if you have this vision for how the day is gonna go and none of the vendors know that vision, then they can't make it happen for you. So like I said, this is where a wedding planner is gonna come in key. They should be helping you, if not making that timeline for you. The seventh thing that I see most brides forgetting is the post-reception plan. So a lot of times, you'll have the wedding ceremony, you'll have the reception, and then maybe the reception's over at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, but you guys want to keep the party going, right? So, don't feel like you have to host something for all your guests, but definitely think about, are there any local bars that you could go to, or can you go to another restaurant? Or let's say you're getting married at a hotel, maybe you can all go to the hotel bar. And then how late is that place open? Is that a good place to go? You just want to think about, what are we going to do when the wedding reception is over? You and all your friends and your family, I know it, I've been to how many weddings, right? Like, you want to keep it going. So before you get to the night of your wedding and everyone's kind of standing around looking at you going, where do we go to next? Maybe have a little plan. Like I said, you don't have to host it for people, but you definitely want to say, like, okay, after the wedding, we're all going to X place. Would love to see you there. You'll have some people that are too tired and they're going to want to go to bed. But then for a lot of other people, they're going to want to keep the party going. So make it easy for them. That way everybody ends up at the same place, right? Like, you don't want to have this group of friends going to this bar, this group of family members going to that bar. You want everyone going to the same place to kind of keep it going. The eighth thing that I see brides forgetting all the time is self-care, right? Like, you are trying to live your life, stay engaged, plan your wedding. Oh, and by the way, work a job and try to maintain your friendships and everything else that you have going on in your life. And this is such a stressful time of your life. So self-care is really important. And self-care can be anything from going to exercise, getting fresh air, and only you know what self-care means to you, but it's really, really important, especially now when you're adding this extra layer of planning a wedding and all the drama that comes with it, and just all sort of the stress of this big change in your life. Self-care is super important right now. The ninth thing that I see brides forgetting all the time, and this is similar to self-care, but it's different. This is why I wanted to make it a separate, and that is to take a break. You have to take a break from the wedding planning, okay? Whether it's, I had friends and they were planning a wedding and they had date night, right? And when they went on their date night, they were not allowed to talk about the wedding, right? So you can do certain things with your partner to not talk about the wedding. Maybe you want to make a rule for yourself, like, I'm not going to talk about it at work, or you can say, okay, you're with a friend, you say, we can talk about the wedding for the first 10 minutes and then I want to actually hang out with you. Or maybe you have certain nights of the week where you're not talking about the wedding or doing anything wedding related, or certain weekends or things like that. So it's just, planning a wedding can be all consuming, and it's really, really important that you take a break so that you can, not be stressed out and that you can actually enjoy the process. So taking a break. Self-care, super important, but also taking a break from the wedding planning. And the 10th and most important thing that I see a lot of brides forgetting, and that is what the wedding is really about. right? Like all of it, the flowers, the dress, all of it's just extra. And I know it sounds cheesy, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but your wedding is about you and your partner, right? It's about you two tying the knot and getting together and saying yes forever to each other. That's it. Everything else is a bonus. So just remember that and don't forget it as you go through this crazy wedding planning process. So I'm gonna list them all below, and I'll link to the blog post where you can find more information, but I'll quick run through them again. These are the 10 things that every bride forgets. Number 1, the marriage license. Number 2, the wedding rings. Number 3, saving the paper goods or the other little special items for the photographer. Accessories for the entire wedding weekend, not just the day of the wedding. Number 5, how to bustle your wedding dress. Number 6, the day of the wedding game plan. Number 7, post-reception plans. Number 8, self-care for yourself. Number 9, taking a break from wedding planning. And number 10, forgetting what the wedding is really about. So I hope that helps in your wedding planning journey. Again, my name is Julie, the Garter Girl. You can subscribe below. I've got lots of tips, not just about wedding garters, although I do hand make those, and they are stylish heirlooms for you to love forever. But I also have tons of wedding planning tips in general to help make this a simple and, dare I say, fun process for you to plan your wedding. All right, that's it. Thank you guys so much.